Welcome everyone to this new episode of the Privacy Rules PrivacyEspresso series, a series of interviews where we speak with experts from all over the world coming from the data protection and cybersecurity sector. Today with me, I have Rafe Pilling, Global Director of Threat Intelligence for SecureWorks. Rafe is a great connection for us because we can speak about relevant topic related to cyber that is less common in our series. So first of all, I would like Rafe to thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me on.
And yes, Rafe, together with you, we discussed about a very interesting topic of the moment that is pretty recent. That is the one related to the Lockbit disruption operation, where you have a lot of knowledge on this matter. So I would like to give our listeners a little overview on what we are talking about. So what is Lockbit, first of all?
So Lockbit was one of the world's most prolific ransomware operations. So they operated one of the largest ransomware as a service operations globally, and have been doing that since about mid-2019. And they worked with a range of other sort of criminal groups in order to compromise organizations, and they would supply the ransomware, they would supply the blog where data was leaked, they would supply negotiation tools and other tools to sort of steal data.
Yeah, that's very clear. So something quite impressive and dangerous, I would say.
Absolutely.
And we are speaking about the takedown of this Lockbit. So my next question to you is why this is so relevant? Why that's such a relevant news?
I mean, the relevancy comes, I think, mainly due to the size of the operation. So in February of last year, the Canadian Cyber Intelligence Service, the Communications Security Establishment, estimated that Lockbit was responsible for 44% of ransomware attacks globally. From our statistics that we've collected on the ransomware landscape, we saw that Lockbit had about a 25% market share. So it's a massive player in the ransomware landscape, disrupting their operations technically and from a reputation perspective. And reputation was a big part of the success of Lockbit. It was the thing that drew affiliates to work with them and to bring their data and the victims that they attacked to Lockbit and try to extort a ransom using that service.
That's great. Thanks a lot. This is very clear. And in terms of impact of this operation, which do you think can be the impact of it?
So the impact is there's both sort of a short-term aspect and a longer-term aspect. The short-term aspect was disruption of the group's infrastructure, so the servers that were hosting their websites and other systems that they used to run the Lockbit ransomware as a service. The law enforcement operation also captured, I think, in excess of 1,000 encryption keys. So that's keys that can be used to decrypt data that have been encrypted by the group in victim organizations. So it means that there's a number of organizations out there that will be able to get their data back without having to pay a ransom for it. It should also mean, hopefully, that the data that the group had taken or other affiliates had taken and passed to them will also not see the light of day and will remain confidential. The NCA and FBI and the rest of the law enforcement partners also seized cryptocurrency wallets, so money was directly taken from the criminal actors. There were some arrests made in France, I believe, and the US, and more importantly, I think they gained a lot of intelligence on the affiliate, the criminal groups working with Lockbit, which should lead to more arrests down the line. So quite a lot of short-term impact. The problem with these things is that the key people behind Lockbit are in jurisdictions that Western law enforcement can't easily access. So they haven't been arrested, and they have already started to reestablish their site, stand up new infrastructure, try to run the operation again. The problem is others in their criminal community just won't trust them. So a big part of this has been about brand damage, demonstrating that they're not competent, they can't be trusted, they're not good partners for others in the criminal community. So it'll be interesting to see, but hopefully we will not see Lockbit reestablishing their position as a leading ransomware service provider.
That's impressive, and it's very interesting what you are saying, in particular for what concerns the, let's say, reliability of criminal, let's say, organization. No? There is reputational damage even for them, and this is one of the main hits that this case has been doing to them, and this is extremely interesting. As much as you're sharing with us lots of good news, probably for many companies that have been impacted or will not be impacted thanks to this operation, and this is definitely something relevant. I believe that another point that you were raising that can be of interest is the fact that once you have been, capable of hitting them in this way, you also now have more intelligence, more information on how they operate, and this may be helpful for you to better understanding in the future, which will be their way of working or their operational organization. So this is all very relevant news and very interesting news. In this regard, one of the key reasons why you have so many information is that also SecureWorks had a role as a cybersecurity company in all these framework, let's say. Can you also delve a bit more into this and tell us which was your role and what you've been doing here?
So the most public aspect of our involvement was the inclusion of a report. So Lockbit operate a blog. Just to take a step back, Lockbit operate this blog, and previously they have had these tiles on the blog that would name the victims, and you'd click on one and it would go through and have data about the victims. Now, when the National Crime Agency in the UK took over the Lockbit website, they replaced it with a similar looking copy, but of their own design. So they had put up different tiles about different aspects of the operation, what they'd been able to achieve, what information they'd captured, and also some input from a number of security vendors. SecureWorks was one of them. So although this operations disrupted, the affiliates, the criminal groups that worked with Lockbit are still out there operating. And our contribution to this was a report that covered 4 years of incident response engagements that we had conducted in relation to Lockbit incidents. And that's 22 engagements, the tradecraft of which we use to inform our own detections within our Taegis XDR platform and our threat intelligence, but we're putting out into the community so that everybody else can sort of see the tactics and tools that we have seen Lockbit affiliates using, and they can develop their own detections or check that their controls are sufficient to detect these activities in an early stage, because that's what we want to do. We want to detect what we call the ransomware precursors, so everything that happens before ransomware is deployed, and ideally before any data is taken as well. So that's the kind of sweet spot that we go for. So that's the sort of public aspect. Because of the experience that we have in responding to a ransomware instance over a long period of time, going back to sort of 2015, the early days of ransomware attacks, we've gained a lot of experience, and so we can provide advice and guidance to law enforcement behind the scenes and support their operations. But we can't always make the details of those things public, obviously.
Of course. But it's nice to hear how much interaction there can be in certain cases between experienced private companies and public in order to, join the same efforts in combating those organizations and those type of criminal activities. Rafe, I would like to thank you very much for being with us today, for explaining us a bit more about this case. That sounds extremely interesting. Hopefully there will be more cases like this.
Absolutely.
Also, thanks to your operation and support, and of course, SecureWorks as one of the partners of PrivacyRules. It's an extremely trusted company for cybersecurity, so we're very happy to have you in. Also, because you can share with us stories like this. And once more, thanks a lot to you. Thanks to our audience for being with us, and I look forward to meeting you all with our next PrivacyEspresso episode. Bye, Rafe. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.